Now, hello again, once more. Now, the influence of Althusser in the 20th century. Another Marxist critic started writing in mid 20th century. French Marxist theoretician called Louis Althusser, and his contribution will become clear if we outline some of the key elements that he introduced, key terms that he introduced. He introduced a term called over-determinism. He said that the Marxist theory of base and superstructure relationship was an over-determinist one. It was an over-determinism. It's not always so straightforward. The relationship between them is not always straightforward. There are so many things that happened within that, between the base and superstructure. This concept of linked and interacting causes is intended to undercut simplistic notions of a one-to-one correspondence between base and superstructure. A related term is the notion of relative autonomy. Everything has an autonomous status in the society, the culture, the music, the fashion, the car productions, the consumer society, the different brands, they all have an autonomous status, and Althusser calls this relative autonomy. And art has a degree of independence from economic forces. Sometimes in terrible economic conditions, there may be most beautiful art of the world, or in industrial relationships, there may be excellent art about the rural society, or in agricultural relationships, there must be an excellent art about the modern society. Art is independent from the economic relationships and economic base. Ideology is a key term for Althusser. As for all Marxists believe that ideology is a key term, and Louis Althusser also believed in that kind of interpretation of the word. Althusser's definition is as follows. Ideology is a system of representations, images, myths, ideas, or concepts, according to case, endowed with an existence and a historical role at the heart of a given society. So ideology is created by the system itself, by the classes within that system. Ideology is created by the hegemonic classes in that system. The hegemony, what is the hegemony? The money holders, the power holders, leaders of the political parties, people who create the culture, people who dominate the media, they create a certain ideology. Okay, Louis Althusser defined ideology as created by certain tools. The first tool that he described was the ideological state apparatuses, ISA, ideological state apparatus. Ideological state apparatus means the ideological tools of a state uses against its people. What are the ideological tools, ideological state apparatus? ISAs are, depending on the culture and country, ISAs are the schools, for example, or ISAs are the religious institutions, ISAs are the media, political parties, sometimes NGOs, non-governmental organizations are used as part of the ISAs. They shape the mindset of the people. They shape the minds of people in a way to act in accordance with the state ideology, in accordance with the official ideology of the state, which was an important fact. All state ideologies are created by ISAs. On the other hand, Louis Althusser suggested that there are RSAs, repressive repressive state apparatuses, RSAs. RSAs are the police force, the army, the courts, legal courts, and the prisons are RSAs. So what happens is, you have an ideology and you want to say something, but you suddenly see the police force, the army, the courts, and the prisons, and you repress yourself. No, I shouldn't say these. I shouldn't be talking about these things. Then it means that ISAs and RSAs work together. The state uses ISAs, and to maintain the power of ISAs, they use the RSAs, repressive state apparatuses, according to Louis Althusser, of course. But how is ideology created? Ideology is created by another Marxist term, hegemonia. Hegemonia. Hegemonia is the people. Hegemonia consists of the people in the middle class, upper middle class, and higher classes than that, higher than that. And these people in the hegemonia are shaping the culture of the society and shaping the types of behaviors, the norms of behaviors that you should behave, and the norms and borders of the thinking, of your thinking all the time. And it depends on the media of the society, it depends on the fashion type of the society, it depends on the music types of the society, it depends on the religious practices of the society, as well as the production systems of the society. Okay? Then, Louis Althusser paired this to a system of representations at the heart of a given society. A crucial vehicle of the values which underpins the statu quo in any society. Art, TV series, films, national anthems, they create the basis of the society and the statu quo of the society, the present situation of the society. These values and assumptions are usually implicit. You don't know that. They are not explicitly told to you. They are implicitly told to you. Then you begin to feel that you shouldn't do it. You begin to feel that this is the way you should behave. This is the way you should act. By hearing that implicitly, nobody tells you explicitly these things. Often unrecognized, but suffuse all the artifacts and all the culture of a given time. So this definition too departs from the crudity of the base and superstructure model. So it is not always so simple as in the base and superstructure relationship. Okay. Another key term introduced by Althusser is decentering. Decentering. Moving away from the center. Decentering. Decentering is a key term in Althusser to indicate structures which have no essence or focus or center. So there are some structures with no center at all. Like in postmodernist theory was arguing that there's no center of the world, but there are centers. So postmodernism is a clearly very anti-Marxist movement. Decentering is a key term in Althusser to indicate structures which have no essence or focus or center. Again, this is partly a way of avoiding the view that the economic base is the essence of society and the superstructure merely a secondary reflection. The notion of decentering implies that there's no overall unity. Art has a relative autonomy and is determined by the economic level only in the last instance. Althusser makes a useful distinction between what we might call the state power and state control. And here it talks about the repressive structures and ideological apparatuses or ideological structures. This Althusserian distinction is closely related to the notion of hegemony, which was given prominence by the Italian Marxist Antonio Gramsci. Gramsci contrasts rule, which is direct political control, which uses force when necessary, and hegemony. So rule and hegemony, according to Gramsci, are contrasted. They are the contrasts of one another. Rule is on the one side and hegemony is on the other side. Rule has a direct political control, and sometimes it uses force. Hegemony is the whole lived social process as practically organized by specific and dominant meanings, values and beliefs of a kind which can be abstracted as a worldview or class outlook. Williams relates hegemony is related to culture in general and to ideology in particular. Yes, culture helps in creation of the ideology. Hegemony, first of all, produces a culture. And then after producing a culture, hegemony slowly moves towards an ideology, because it is only the culture that might produce a successful ideology. Okay. I'm running out of battery in my computer. Okay. Let me close the session and I will continue recording on my mobile phone, recording the video on my mobile phone, but I have to close the session in the computer. I'm so sorry. I will share this video with you. I'm recording all the class. Okay, now let me go on with it. Right. So then the ideology, hegemony slowly moves the culture into an ideology, because culture is a part of the ideology, and it successfully creates an ideological background for countries. Okay, then this is all for this week. I'm closing the recording now, and I will continue with the relationship between culture and ideology next week. See you then.